Hello and welcome to my channel, and welcome to Legends of Tomorrow review for episode 3, Blood Ties. If you haven't seen this episode already, I suggest you watch it before watching this review because of spoilers. Okay, let's get on with it. First things first, apologies for, well, the massive delay in coming up with this review. Reasons are that, well, to be quite honest, I was very disappointed with the first episode, well, the first 2 episodes, the pilots. I didn't dislike them. Oh, far from it. I think I was just a little bit underwhelmed. I think my expectations for the series was just running a little bit too high. And as a consequence, I've decided to watch a few episodes ahead and take a little bit more time to gather my thoughts on this episode. And my thoughts are good. Second point is plot holes. I'm going to avoid mentioning any plot holes that might arise unless they become so blindingly obvious that we can't avoid them. Because we're in a time travel show, and I'm assuming that plot holes are going to come up and then be filled later on, earlier on. Timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly. But the biggest plot hole, I think, that came out of the pilot was the fact that why has not Rip Hunter gone back to the beginning of Vandal Savage's timeline and attempted to kill him then? And this plot hole is filled very nicely right at the beginning of this episode, which I loved. I mean, to get that straight from, it shows the potential that we're going to get a lot more than just the 20th century in our time travel adventures. I'm not going to bleat on about character development. I went on far too long about that in the first review of the pilots. All I am going to say is that there were certain elements of this episode that I think could have benefited from being in the pilot, either one of the pilot episodes. And there's elements of the pilot episodes which I think could have waited for a later episode. But that being said, there's nothing we can do about it now. What is done is done, and it's progressing nicely. So in this episode, the teams are split into 3. If you remember, at the end of the last episode, Carter and Kendra made an attempt on Vandal Savage's life, which went disastrously wrong, and Carter was killed. Kendra was very, very badly injured. So the team cannot take off from 1975 because the time jump would essentially see the end of Kendra. Her body at the moment would not be able to take it. So while they're sitting around doing nothing, Sarah Lance comes up with the idea of attacking Vandal Savage's business empire in an attempt to slow him down. I mean, they can't attack him directly. They've already tried that in this time period and failed. So attack him indirectly. Brilliant plan. Well, brilliant idea, but no planning went into it. If planning had gone into it, he would have taken Mick and Leonard along as backup. He didn't. He only took Sarah. Which was great because we get to see Sarah's absolutely kick-ass moves. And we also get to learn a little bit more about Sarah's time as the Lazarus and the feelings of psychotic rage that are part of that reincarnation type thing. I'm not entirely sure exactly what happened. We do learn a little bit more about her inner turmoil. And it also nicely, I mean, the mission itself was completely bodged up. And to be quite honest, Rip Hunter proved himself quite useless at the beginning of that fight. But it does lead to the plot line where we discover that Vandal Savage is using Carter's corpse in some sort of unholy satanic blood ritual in which he intends to extend the lives of his faithful. And we can't allow that sort of sacrilege to occur. So Sarah and Rip's mission changes to that of rescuing Carter's body. In Team 2, We have Kendra, who's very, very sick in the med bay, suffering from an acute case of dagger poisoning. Martin Stein and Ray Palmer to aid her, to try and cure her, to bring her back to full health. This involves, of course, Ray shrinking down into miniature Ant-Man size, or no, atom-sized, and entering her bloodstream in order to zap the particles of dagger that have are racing towards her heart. Martin is there purely for the scientific backup and really a confidence builder. And we get to learn why Ray is this sort of like bumbling, clumsy idiot, even though everything in his character says that he should be a confident, successful businessman, which he is. And we get to learn where this clumsiness has come from, where this lack of self-confidence has come from. I'm going to go easy on Ray from now on. Knowing what he's been through and why his confidence is so shaken up, you can't help but feel sorry for him. And Martin, to be quite honest, proves himself to be a bit of a dick throughout the entire episode. I don't know if that's just the way it was written or what, but his reverse psychology on Ray seems almost cruel. But maybe that was just my interpretation of it. While everything else is going on, Jackson is given the task of, well, making some repairs to the jump ship, which leaves Leonard and Mick alone, two master criminals, alone in 1975 with future technology at their disposal. Not a good idea. Really a major oversight on Rip's part. But then again, I'm starting to think that Rip is making this up as he goes along. He doesn't really have a clue what he's doing. He doesn't have a plan. He's just winging it, basically. He's improvising. And I think this shows in his lack of forward thinking. I mean, leaving two master criminals alone with future... idiotic, aside from the fact that he needed them to as backup in his plan. But we do get to learn a little bit more of Leonard, the things that drive him, the fact that he had this really bad upbringing and that he wants to change it, and that leads them to persuading Jax to steal the jump ship, steal a diamond with them, or an emerald, and try and change Leonard's, well, try and change his destiny. And I think, yeah, again, we get this sympathetic side of Leonard. He was always been a favourite character of mine in The Flash, and he's starting to become an even more favourite character of mine. On the whole, I thought this episode was really strong and very compact. Gave a lot of character analysis. In splitting the three teams up, we learned not much, but a little bit, and very important bits, about three main characters, Sarah, Leonard and Ray. But yeah, I think this was a very important episode. Slow, more setting up future episodes, but certainly a worthwhile episode. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you later. Thank you. Bye bye.